What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weir, and this is my movie review for the movie Black Widow. That's right, we finally get another entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I need to adjust my camera. We're just going to do that with you guys today. There we go, just a little bit above my head. It's a little better. Anyway, let's talk about Black Widow. Let's do the review.
One thing's for sure. I'm done running from my past.
And so guys, Black Widow is the 24th installment into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this one takes place between Civil War and Infinity War. So anywhere in between there, you can throw Black Panther, Spider-Man, Thor Ragnarok, all of those kind of go in there. Thor Ragnarok's kind of the one right before Infinity War, but otherwise, you get the idea. Anyway, the movie is directed by Cate Shortland, and it stars Scarlett Johansson reprising her role for the last time, seemingly, as Black Widow, because as we all know in Endgame, Scarlett Johansson died, giving her life for the Soul Stone so that the Avengers could snap reality back to the way it should have been.
Nerd.
I don't know if I featured this one in a video yet. I got this at Comic-Con, back when Comic-Con was still happening. I don't pull it out very often, so I just want to take a second to do this. I like it. The movie also stars Florence Pugh, it stars David Harbour, and it stars Rachel Weisz. All three of them play intricate roles throughout this movie, so while the movie is Scarlett Johansson's movie, the other people are very important to this movie too.
There's always room for family.
The movie is really a backstory of Black Widow, kind of gives you her origins, kind of where she started, where she's coming from, and then it's a revenge film, which is really cool because Marvel does this awesome thing with its movies where outside of like its big Avengers movies where you kind of know the path they're going down, each movie has a different tone, a different style. Whether the movie has a spy tone or Shakespeare tone, the movies have done a great job reinventing themselves. Even Spider-Man was more of a coming-of-age movie, so I've really enjoyed that about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this movie is no different. This movie is a revenge tale, and as soon as I found that out in the theater, because props to the trailers, they really didn't give anything away, and I appreciated that. I mean, when you have a movie that is ready to go for over a year, and then because of COVID, everything just slowed down and we couldn't, the fact that they didn't leak the plot out, the fact that they didn't release so many trailers to try to get you into the theater, oh, this is going to happen, they're going to go do this, and they're going to go do this. I mean, they showed several shots from the movie, but I was really impressed with how much they held back and how much was a surprise to me in the theater. Because of that, I can't go into too many details because I don't want to spoil things for the people who haven't seen Black Widow yet. So for a synopsis of this movie, I was very happy with how they handled her childhood because it opens with them as kids, and I'm not a huge fan of kid actors most of the time. I just they're not developed as much most of the time, and I think that they handled it pretty well. You see a quick scene at the beginning when her and her sister are kids with their mom and their dad, Rachel Weisz's character, David Harbour's character, and you see that scene happen, and then they transition through a Nirvana cover, actually, Smells Like Teen Spirit cover, which I think is awesome. My wife, not a fan. She said Kurt Cobain would hate it, and he might, but I liked it for the record. So they do that. They do a real cool montage transition, kind of shows you her training, her upbringing, and then boom, it's present day. Well, present day for the events after Civil War. So again, this is like 2015-ish that it's all supposed to be happening. Black Widow's on the run from General Ross and the U.S. government because she did not sign the Soviet Accord. And on the other side of things, you've got Florence Pugh's character, who is on the run from a secret organization. Again, I don't want to spoil too much for you guys as to why she's on the run, but she is, and they are sisters, and they meet at a certain point in time. And then the movie happens. I wish I could give you more of this movie, but again, I don't want to spoil it for those of you who didn't. Maybe I'll make a spoiler review, maybe. But I don't know. It's hard to do spoiler reviews because I got a lot of reviews to make, and so it's just finding time. But we'll see in the future. But let's jump into some things I like, some things I dislike, and then I'll give you a rating, because honestly, those are the things I want to talk about. The first thing I like about this movie, well, again, I know it's ridiculous, but the cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit, the way they did it in the movie, I loved that. I thought it was a great way to transition Black Widow from childhood to an adult, and they did a really good job, and I thought the cover worked. Next thing I like about this movie is the action scenes. I mean, Marvel doesn't miss when it comes to action. The action scenes in this movie were awesome. You've got Taskmaster, who was in all the trailers, kind of fighting her. And I've seen a lot of reviews before I went and saw this movie that were talking about, oh, well, Taskmaster's not in it very much. Taskmaster's in the whole movie. I don't understand what they were looking for. Maybe it's a different Taskmaster from the comic book. Maybe Taskmaster does something different. This Taskmaster doesn't say a word in the entire movie. It's just kind of this presence, this oncoming force. Kind of reminded me of a less violent Michael Myers. I mean, Taskmaster's violent, but you know, Mike Myers uses machetes and there's a lot of gore and blood, and this is a Marvel movie. But it kind of reminded me of that, because just when the heroes would be out of reach of the US government, they'd be out of the reach of this secret organization, boom, Taskmaster would show up looking to do a job. And it was really awesome to watch that character just kind of show up and wreck house. Every single time the heroes thought they were safe, they thought they were okay, boom, here comes Taskmaster. And that kind of reminds me of Aquaman, and here's where I'm going with this. In the movie Aquaman, he had Black Manta kind of on his trail the whole time, but they did it so poorly. They did it every single time. They just needed a reason to fight. They needed a reason for a boom to happen. And I hated that about Aquaman. If you see my Aquaman review, you know why. But they needed a transition to every scene, so it'd just be like, oh, Black Manta's here, and here's why. And it just didn't make a lot of sense, and it didn't make for a good movie. Whereas this movie, it did make sense every time Taskmaster showed up. And then when you find out who Taskmaster worked for, why Taskmaster was going after people, it does make a lot more sense. Taskmaster is another one of the things I really enjoyed, along with the action. I love David Harbour's character in this too. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was funny. Florence Pugh's character, funny. Really, if we go, the next thing I like, it's got to be the acting, obviously. I mean, Marvel does a good job with casting, but the funniness in this movie was so damn good. There's this great moment where David Harbour's character is having a heart-to-heart moment with Rachel Weisz, and he's got his hand here, he's looking at Taskmaster, he's about to fight, and he's like, I just want to tell you, and he goes on this long spiel, and then he turns around and she's gone. And it's just, Marvel knows how to plant that humor. And then David Harbour says something that's funny to Taskmaster. It's just, they know how to plant that humor in, and Marvel does such a great job. So yeah, I thought that was good too. For dislikes, it's kind of a spoiler, so I want to be really careful. I'm going to say spoiler warning just because I want to be really careful with what I say. But my biggest dislike of this movie, and probably one of my only gripes of this entire movie, because I genuinely did like this movie, is I did not like the reason Black Widow can't hurt the bad guy. It was weird. It was different, but maybe I didn't hate it. It's just I didn't like it. They could have done better, I think. There was a reason Black Widow could not harm the main bad guy, and she's able to overcome it, but there's a reason she can't do it, and it felt lazy, I guess. Like it's just like, I'm not going to say it, but it just felt lazy. That's the best way I could put it. The reason she couldn't hurt the villain, it was lazy. Overall, though, guys, I enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie was a fun time. I thought it was a good installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't wait to buy this thing on 4K, put it with my Marvel collection, and enjoy it. So with all that being said, guys, I gotta go ahead and give the movie this rating. That's right, Marvel is back. And I'm so happy about that because I've missed Marvel movies in my life. It's been since 2019, and I needed Marvel, and they came through in a big way. I really enjoyed Black Widow to the point where I think I'm gonna go see it again. I really enjoyed it that much. It reminds me of when Captain Marvel came out. I enjoyed that movie so much, and they used some Nirvana in that movie too. And maybe that's what's drawing me in. But they made a great movie, and I went and saw that movie twice. I went and saw Endgame twice. I saw Spider-Man twice. It's just kind of a Marvel habit. I see it, I love it, and I've got to see it again. And we've got 3 more coming this year with Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, and then you've got The Eternals coming, and finally we have Spider-Man No Way Home later this year. I'm so hyped. I can't wait for the trailer. Is Tobey Maguire going to be back? I have a problem with Tobey Maguire, but I'm, for some reason, hyped that he's going to come back. Anyway, guys, that's my movie review. If you enjoyed this movie review, hit the like button. If you want to share this movie review with your friends, make sure you do that by hitting the share button. If you've seen Black Widow and you want to talk about it in the comment section down below, let's do that. Let's talk. And finally, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that because I got a lot of content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.